Yo, there we go. Get that music down a little bit so y'all can hear me. Oof. I need new speakers. Badly. But I will not be getting them because we just spent a shit ton of money going to Hynafol. Ooh, let me fix the screen a little bit. Yo, I didn't even fix my back, like my display or anything. I'm just like, this is it. This is good. Whew. I'm just trying to get the... There we go. First part of chat was covered up. I don't want chat to be covered up. What is up, everyone? It has been a day. By day, I mean... Come on, speakers. It's been like a month. Seriously been like a month since I posted anything. All that Cosmic Fury stuff went down, and then... Yeah, there we go. Ooh, let's check out the chat. Hello, my cat is so happy I'm home. I literally just got... We just got home today. We left Tuesday morning. So we got back Monday. So we've been gone a little bit at this. Yeah, Trekkie B. Look at the website. It is amazing. I will actually... Let me shoot... I want to make sure I do have a link up, so in case you're interested in it at all, you can just give the website a look. There's different prices. Let's just say there are different prices, and depending on how much you want to pay, if you want to do like you have your own camping spot and you bring everything else yourself, that's all it is you get the package to be in there, and then you bring all your own stuff. It's $400. So, if that explains you, this is a huge event and why I am also not at PMC. I am not at Ranger Stop this coming weekend. The immersive experience and stuff that we did was really cool. I think it was about $2,000, but it included our tent, our bed, and then, yes, my love, and then it included breakfast and dinner for every day. So we figured pack some granola bars, whatever. We don't have to worry about eating lunch. And honestly, we were just so busy doing things, we didn't eat lunch any day. It was like one person in our party would get an order of fries, and we would all just kind of grab a few. So it was really awesome. Yeah, so Hynafol, the website. I was all just looking at it. I'm like, do. Bam. So, Hynafol.com. And then let me just... That isn't what I meant to do. That's okay. But, give it a moment, and it'll also appear just right below in the, description. Like, hey, everyone, this is what I did. So, yeah, let me get back to Chitty Chat. Omega, what's up? It's been a time. So again, Trekkie V, Omega, the group selfie. That wasn't all of us, by the way. That picture was a fraction. It was that was not everyone. Though that group picture is only the people who battled on day 3 and were around for this picture. So if that gives you an idea, that amount of people in that picture was not all of the people battling. It was maybe not double that, but at least like 1.5 times that. So it was pretty freaking awesome. What's up, Ranger Nation? Ranger X. I put technology in my veins today. There were no phones. There was nothing. My cat is so jealous right now. Donnie, what is up? Hope everyone's weekend as well, despite the passing of Aaron Carter. I loved his music. Yeah, that was one of those, I was like, whoa, I thought he was younger than me, and I think he was by a few years. Any news yet from Willie about 47 Sentai Interest King Oger yet? No, but we are starting to look for things around maybe the first quarter or maybe the first trademarks, which will help maybe tell us things like the name of the first mecha or maybe the name of the gun or the change gimmick name. So look for that. Potentially would be the next thing we know. It's just going to be the name of maybe like the henshin device changer, whatever. Ryan, hey there, Liz. I'm watching the stream on TV. Well, I hope you were relaxing. If I wasn't doing this, I'd honestly be like half asleep on the couch watching football right now because I'm just. My husband and I technology detoxed. So I'm just kind of chatting now. I guess in, I don't know, a few minutes, I'll just kind of like start at the beginning of the whole tale. Because this is all this is. It's just, for my own mental health, I want to remember as much as possible. And the problem with, she is really pissed. The problem with that is that there was no technology. I had no phones. You could not take pictures of these people. You couldn't even be like, hey, what's your Discord? Let me add you. Because I was also an idiot, and a lot of us, we didn't even bring a pen or paper because I didn't think to buy a medieval-looking pen and paper. So it was very strange. Like, I used my phone very, very sparingly. And when I did, it was simply because people needed to know what time it was because of when events. You aren't going to last long in here. She really is pissed at us, though. My cat, like, she's really mad at my husband today. So, do that. Yeah, I joked. My phone was 50% in case there was an emergency with my daughter, and 50% people just needed to know what time it was. And so someone would be like, excuse me, would you happen to know what time it is? Like, they would ask you, and so you'd be like, is it okay if I check my magical book? And they're like, oh, please. And so you kind of like, you have a cape, and I kind of like pull it out, and you just very quickly like pull your phone out, like sneak, check the time, and you can tell them. But I don't think, Keith didn't keep his phone on him all of the time, and the other 3 people in our party didn't keep it on at all. So I was like the time watcher of everyone. So that was neat. Hello there, heroes. I did not forget about you, Orange Ranger. How are you? Whew. It's been crazy. So my entire, since I'm gonna get around, I'm just gonna put my mug on my cat's head. Hopefully I'll go to another PMC. I want to go. I mean, believe me, if it was in my ways, I would totally go, but it was not, it just wasn't in the finances. Let's be honest, because by the time we had to fork out the amount just for the experience, we also had to pay for 2 plane tickets there and back. Plus, we had to buy outfits for the entire thing because, by the way, you have to be in decorum. So you have to be fully back in the day looking. And it was a fantasy. So, like, if you wanted to be an elf, cool. You want to be a hobbit, great. Like, it didn't matter. So it wasn't, like, very strict on that. But it had to be, in the fantasy world. Oh, I have cat fur all over me now. Yes. It's okay. I still love her. Have I seen the trailer for the Geats Revice Winter movie? No. I have not. This is the first time I've gotten on YouTube in days, in a week. The first time I've gone to YouTube in a week, and it's a stream. It's been insane. I have missed, if any fandom bullshit has happened in the last week, I don't know. But I will give you a small teaser for those of you that are still here. Thank you, because I've been rambling and everybody's left. I will give you tales of building a direwolf for an empress. An empress was slain. I fought an orc, which was really cool, with a spear. And also went toe-to-toe with pirates. That was kind of neat. I got to drink in pubs and listen to music. And I was at a lodge where bards sang songs, and it was really awesome. So, let me turn this music down simply in my own ears. And without further ado, I'm going to start. This is the tale of Ricine, the maybe bard, but not really, from Hynafol. So, words that you're going to be like, what is this? Because I'm also doing this for people who may be interested in Hynafol in the future and are like, hey, I would really love to hear someone's perspective on it. So this is going to be kind of for anyone. If you have questions in the chat, please do. But as of this point, I just need to get all of this off my chest because I had one of the most unforgettable experiences of my entire life. On my birthday, I had to run to a castle in the pouring rain because there was a tornado warning happening, where I was then threatened by a freaking huge orc that we need to get off his lands. And by the way, I'm not imagining. The tornado warning was real. We just had to work around it. Pouring rain. There were tent fuckers. By the way, I have been away from children for a week. I am going to be using foul language. So my apologies. I've been hanging out with dwarves and some night fae and like weird stuff. So here we go. Hynafol is a mystical world where 400 years ago, King Arthur disappeared and mist surrounded the whole area. So I did not do a very good job of reading up on lore before this, which is actually probably a good thing because for my character, she just is in the middle of kind of running away. So I just kind of yeeted myself into the mist to try to escape and find a different path in life, let's say. So that is my character being like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to pretend I do. So it worked out really well. The people who were there with me was Alamaxia Iron Mold, who is my husband, Keith. But he is kind of a two-handed wielding. If you know Driss Duorden from the books, he's him. Just he's him. Okay, if you don't know who that is, Google it. You'll literally, that's who he is. So, and then with us was William, I can't remember his last name, but Ryan, it's not Ryan, it's Ryan is his name. His online name is the Fat Wizard. So he was William, and he was kind of a rogue, scoundrelly. He played in the shadows, and it was a lot of fun. He was a member of Seller's Keep. There were a bunch of guilds in this. You could join guilds, you could join religions, you could join in just on events. There's a million different things to do. And then we have Mike, so his in-game name was Dominic. So we have Dominic Willard, true fighter of strength and honor. His name online is Lobos Jr., if you want to check him out. And then in the last of our party is Kendra. Her name is, in real life, is Lonnie. And she is also a wanderer, trying to find what weapon she shall wield. So she and I became very, very good friends this weekend because we were both like, okay, let's do this. But she was awesome. We ended up like fighting together on the battlefield, and now it's like, oh, now the closest we're gonna be is like we're Pokemon Go friends, you know? So anywho, if yeah. So Ranger Liz, Alamaxia, Fat Wizard, Lobos Jr., and Alani is Bloody Faster TV. So this is the group. And if you're wondering, how are you with these people? It's because my husband does a podcast called the Saturday Morning Gaming Show, and he's on the podcast with these guys. So it's, Alamaxia, Lobos Jr., and the Fat Wizard. They do it. It's every once a month. It's a Saturday morning gaming show, and it's pretty awesome. They talk about video games that are at least 20 years old, and it's like an hour and some long. It's really neat. I should have a link, but, Anywho. So that... Oh, and Bloody Faster's married Lobos. So there you go. Now this is how we're all in there together. Normal yada yada. We just wake up early, take a flight. We get there. We meet up with William, because I'm just going to call them all by their names at this point. He picks us up from the airport. We get supplies from the olden Target, because you're definitely going to need to pick some stuff up and make sure you have some stuff with you, such as water. There was running water in the bathrooms. There were porta potties. That's all there were. There were porta potties. But there was running water to wash your hands, and the water was potable, so you could also drink it. It was just the same. It was like shower to like everything was just ran in the same water, but we could drink it. But we did make sure we brought giant gallons of water, bottles of water, and stuff like that. And then we brought some Gatorade for the mornings, which was really helpful. Or after battles, we had to drink them in the tent because, and same with water. If you wanted to carry anything around with you, you have to bring your own mug. This is mine. I actually have a red leather wrap around it, but I need to clean it really good. This mug was drank from by a lot of people on the battlefield because it got used by our water manager for day 3. But I skip ahead. So that's just kind of the normal. We get all of our supplies and whatnot. I got some rugs, or the things that I brought, like basic easy supplies that you can get to make your tent a little more comfortable. Bring a rack to put your clothing on to try to get it upright because you're going to want it to air dry as fast as possible. Honestly, even if it's dirty, if you are really, really sweaty and disgusting, next time I need to get a portable rack because that would have made everything a lot better. Rugs, like cheap kind of throw rugs, like from Five Below, or actually like blankets from Five Below, you can use as rugs, really help because there was no bottoms in the tent. So just having that on it to, keep yourself from being directly on the ground or stepping directly on an acorn, and then you can just take them out and shake them, and then it makes your tent a little more comfy. I should, if I was thinking ahead, I would have more pictures of some of this stuff, but it was a medieval friggin' tent. So, hello, let's give me some connections with Mystic Force. There was no magic in Hynafol. I say there was no magic because now there is. The world the world had magic, and then it was all sealed away, and the 9 sisters summoned a freaking monster for the Imperium, and now magic is released back out in the world. Yeah, I'm a nerd on you. A lot. This is like me telling you about a D&D campaign, except in the tales, I was actually there. It was seriously like watching The Lord of the Rings. At one point, there was a council meeting, and it involved, like, my guild and stuff. So I was just sitting. I'm not really participating because I don't really have much to say. But I'm like, I'm in the freaking Lord of the Rings. Like, you're just sitting there watching them. Or, like Star Wars. Like, it's actually happening right in front of you. It was really cool. Yeah, it was a little scary with the tornado warning, especially when all of a sudden, like, a lot of phones stopped getting service. Because at this point in the castle, like, people were they weren't, like, looking at them in front of everyone, but people had, like, their backs to the party, and you could tell, they were trying to look at the forecast. But it was at least a solid building. Yeah, and our tent didn't blow away, and we didn't get any water in it, so it was fine. At the end of the day, William's tent, however, did not manage on Friday night. It got choked. All right. So the day of, luckily, so Dominic and Kendra pick us up in their mystical new age driving machine. It takes us to Yolden Hynafol, which actually takes place in Sherwood Forest Fair in McDade, Texas. So it's been there for like 15-ish years. So it's an established thing, and the rest of our party had all been there at least once, right? So they're like, no, we've been to these grounds, really good. So, okay, this is the first time this has ever happened. There's a big one in Canada called Bicoline, and it's in the French-speaking Canada, so somewhere near Quebec, I guess. But it's primarily in French, but there's a large group of Americans that leave from Texas, so a lot of Texans fly up, and it's this big thing, and they call it the Voyage North, and it's where this group of people go up all the way to Bicoline together, and they have their own guilds and stuff, and it's this really big sense of community, and these people are like, hey, we lead this group of people up there, we're going to start our own, and people can come and go. So, like, 3 of the guilds from Bicoline, like, came over, so it's kind of like in a whole different world. When you get there, you have until 5 for all the vehicles to be out, which is fine. But you have by 8 p.m., you have to be in character, ready to go. We were a bit earlier because there was actually a pre-game meeting at like 7:15. So by then, you're all like, oh, okay, this is it. Like, you're kind of stepping out, of everything, where you're like, I don't freaking know what's gonna happen, but let's go. So was it even it was that night after just the introduction of like, here's the basics, this is who runs everything, who's to ask for questions. We went up by our, not factions, but our area of which we live in the kingdom, and I am in the Ligue de Freehold. I am a freedom fighter, shall you say. I fight for justice and basically against oppression, persecution. I protect the downtrodden, against slavery. Like, that's just kind of who my character is. I'm just one of those, like, I have an axe, show me where to point it, right? Like, for justice. Kind of one of those. But there's a whole bunch of different guilds and whatnot in our area. So we all meet together, and this is where I'm starting, like, I've never LARPed before. I've never done D&D before. So some of this is tough for me, right? So this is where I'm first like, okay, really gotta do this. Like, gotta get more comfortable. But yeah, we all get in there and we have to make this big circle, and it's this huge story about how we get into the mists. And once the mist part, you are now, it's like, welcome. You are now in Hynafol. You are now in an unknown world where 400 years ago, the mist threw everyone out. Like, what's going on? It's now up to you and everyone to write the story. So there was a plot, a basic plot, that things were going to be following along, but it was done by the players. It was done by, I think, the people running it are like, okay, this battle has to happen this day, this battle has to happen this day, the logistical parts. But things got changed and flopped and swapped, and battles were changed because wires got crossed and people got fed the wrong information. Yeah. Okay. The mist part, we are in. And if you have any questions, if you want to know about like the money or whatever when you're there, just let me know. What is up, Tony? Welcome to the stream. The only problem with this is that it actually doesn't really keep beer very cold. And it gets flat kind of fast. So I'm probably done drinking out of that. So we are in, and we're just like, what the hell? So this place is dark, right? It's dark. It's not a normal place where people camp, I don't think, at least. So there aren't like a ton of lights. So you have to have your own light source. However, it has to be in decorum. So do I seriously did I not bring any down here? Anywho, just imagine like the LED candles that are like this big, right? So this is what I have. This is like your light source. And the first night, I swear, we all tried to carry them properly, but it was so damn dark. Like by the last day, we're all just holding them like flashlights. You're like, I can't fucking see. It's uneven terrain. It's dirt, rocks, whatever. There's, grooves in it, tree roots. It's really is freaking, it is Mystic Force, we are trudging around in the woods, and like, oh, okay, well, there's where the Fae, like the Night Fae and the Day Fae, like that's where they're, like depending on what you signed up as, they were grouping people together, so you'd be part of your own guild, or at least your own people, like, like-minded. So yeah, so there's like all the guilds of the Fae, and you're like, whoa, okay. And it took me until Friday to know there were dwarves. There was a friggin' dwarven village, which they were amazing. So, yeah, it was kind of tough. It was tough getting around. Alamaxia's shoes are destroyed. They literally friggin' like the soul is coming off of them after the weekend. So that's going to be a contact to customer service. So some people had things that they would trade or maybe had as little tokens that they could give people. And I was not, I was under enough time crunch for the few things I did want, to make, that I was like, I don't have anything to do. So I picked up little gems like these, just like on Amazon. It was a pack of 80 maybe for like $13. But there's just these shiny little gems, and they were fun because if there were kids there, I would be like, I'd give them the story about how it's a precious gem from my country, where I come from, and I'd love you to have one. And the little kids like, oh, thank you, it's cool. But it was also a fun in game to just, whenever you're interacting with someone, you're like, I want to give you something from my country, and you do. And then I traded, what is his name? Not Alduin. It's not Alduin. Damn, I can't forget his name. But anyways, he's awesome, and he had an Irish accent, which I honestly did not. It was really good. I did not know until the last day it wasn't his real accent. But I traded him one, and apparently he has a weird curse on him, and he has teeth. Like, he has necklaces of teeth, and that's what he trades you for favors. He trades teeth. So he gave me a tooth. Thank God it wasn't real. But he's like, oh, if I given you a tooth? I'm like, I don't really know what that means, buddy. And he goes, oh, here, and he plants, and I'm just like, right. But that was neat. They were fun. Yeah, I guess that can be a story. So the first night, I wasn't really sure. I was asking someone about being killed, because in this game there are assassinations. If you want someone killed, you can put in a request to Seller's Keep, who takes care of the more unsavory things. Now, if you sign up and you're like, hey, they can kill me, like, I want to be part of the game, like, because, they need people to volunteer to be, like, targets, right? So, I signed up, and, man, I started regretting it quickly. Because I realized that to do one of these deaths would probably take a lot more acting than I was, like, ready to do yet, But I will show you. So you can poison people. And if you do poison something, I asked for what, like, I was talking to someone. She gave me one of these. I actually didn't get poisoned. But anyway, so it usually just says something like open in 10 minutes. This actually wasn't even a poison. It says instant death, no cure. But you had to have these little cards, and so to poison someone, you just had to touch their drink, and it could be the outside. You don't actually have to, like, touch their drink, or you could touch, like, if they had a bracelet or something, and you're like, oh, can I see that for a minute? Like, as long as you hold it for, like, 5 seconds or whatever, it becomes poison. Then when you give them back to them, you then can get up, and then after a while, you hand them a card, and they're like, motherfucker, like, they poisoned me. Friend William did that to a very nice old lady we were chatting to at the pub. I'm just like, William. It's all right. We saved her. There was a healer. Oh, there are so many things. I guess whenever I talk about the battle, I'll mention the healers, right? So our first night, really, we just immediately kind of go to the pub, like, wander around, just kind of start chatting to people. We initially met a character named Magnus, who we became close with. He was in another guild called the Fulcrum Acolytes, who is a knowledge-seeking guild. And it sounds like a real bloodbath. My husband was assassinated in front of my eyes. He was. I felt bad. We knew the person who did it because we've been chatting with him all weekend, so I wasn't suspecting when he walked behind him. And then he shanked him. But again, luckily there was a healer, so he didn't die. If you die in game, like during the battles, if you die, you just walk back to the spawn, whatever, and you tap the thing. However, during the game, and if you say you're willing to be assassinated, unless you are, I think, like, ordering food in the bathroom or in your tent, you can be assassinated. Oh, and I forgot. I actually want to bring... I'm going to send Alamaxia a message in just a second to see if he would want to hop in anything. Do you want to pop into... Because I know he has, he probably remembers more things, than I do. Yeah. Short for events. And event entrance. So, like, the pictures they were using were, it looks like some of them, like, from Sherwood Forest Fair. If you're looking at, like, the promotional stuff for it, it's, like, these people have been to Sherwood Forest Fair, so they took the pictures like there. So it was of the actual grounds. Is music even playing anymore? What are you doing, man? I turned it all down too much. There's a little bit. Woo, so we're in the mist. Friday, I don't think anything to... So this is Thursday, I'm sorry. No. Wednesday. This all started Wednesday. Okay. So Wednesday, the game officially begun at 8. We basically just started chatting to the people we had met near our tent. Meandered, wandered. Some of our party found a wonderful place called the Lodge, which I didn't get to experience until night 2. But it was neat. I just remember there was rum and beer, and I had rum in this little bottle, and so I was just passing it around, and it was great. And then I promptly fell asleep. Honestly, I was pretty tired. So enters Thursday, which is the actual first full day, right? So you wake up. I have a let's see if I pull it up. Oh, hey, I'm actually coming down. Let me, I had it scrolled up at one point. I was going to tell you all the breakfast, but it was like other stuff.
Oh, hi.
It's a wild element.
I exist.
He does exist. So Friday night, we just drank at the pub, and then after a while I just went to bed.
The Dwarven pub, I believe.
No. Thursday, like the first night, Wednesday night. The first night we were there, right?
Okay, so we went from Friday to Thursday. Okay, so Wednesday night, yeah, our first like full day.
Yeah. No, Wednesday night, we entered the mists. We went to the pub.
Yes.
That's about it, right?
Yeah.
At least for me. He went out and he was the lurker. So he literally was like, I'm going to go walk around in the dark. So he's wearing pretty much all black with the black cape.
Completely dark. I even have the cape like shrouded close to me, hood up, just like walking in the complete darkness. It was awesome.
If he was anywhere else in the world, people would have called the police.
Seriously.
You would have been shot. People would have like freaked the hell out.
So, the way I got the name The Lurker, I was just there. We were around the lodge. It was like the first bar place that we were really drinking at, and one of the people in our party, our guild, had a hit put out on them to be assassinated. So
poor Dominic.
So me being the ranger and the person who just loves doing this kind of stuff, apparently, I skulked around in the dark, and this one character, she saw me. And then she like turned and did something and turned back and I wasn't there. And then I did it again. Like she saw me and then turned back and I wasn't there. And then she went to tell someone. She turned and was like, do you see that person behind you, like behind the tree? And then they turn and I'm not there. The guy thinks she's kind of crazy.
So this is the world we are currently existing in. But he legit, you bam.
She was wonderful. I had such a great conversation with her. It was honestly the best time I had in the whole time was talking to her about how she kind of gave me that name and how that all played out, and me being able to share my backstory with her. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So we awake. Did you know that YouTube music really sucks to keep going during things? So,
it just sucks.
Well, it's true. So that was Wednesday night. We enter the mist. Thursday morning we wake up. Breakfast tacos. They were good.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They were bad. The food, so we got as I said, we got the full immersion. So breakfast and dinner were covered. It included coffee, so it was like we could pick up to 3 breakfast tacos. Like I only got 2 and I didn't even finish both of them. And then we also got, like, coffee was included, and then either a banana or...
I have to sit.
There you go. Either a banana or, like, a small pastry. You can play with the Geet stuff.
Geek, geek.
Geek geek.
Ever again.
Never again. Oh, by the way, so fun thing. If you tip the people who do your food, they yell, "Huzzah to the tipper!"
Huzzah!
So yeah, if anyone gives me a tip, I will now be yelling, "Huzzah to the tipper!" or something to that extent. So that was
there's
neat.
one point that we will eventually get to where there is a very serious RP event going on, and in the background you just hear, "Huzzah to the tipper!"
Someone was just murdered. Can we please get them to stop for 5 seconds? I swear people knew and they were just like, money, tips. Woo. Thursday being the first full day there were 3 battles. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Thursday, early, because the battle was at like 1. But at 11:30-ish,
everything was
it was very ish because nobody had clocks. There was battle training, and I'm like I have to do this. I've never sword fought before, like other than swinging around the Dino Fury saber, and like y'all see how I am with that. Like we're lucky as nothing's broken. So I go do this. I end up meeting up with, and I'm not even shitting you, there's a stereotype, and I hadn't quite realized it until I realized I was in it. Of all of the battles, they're like, all right, if you have a shield, you're over here, and pole arms over here, warriors, and they call out everyone. And there are 4 fucking ladies standing there wearing tights, holding a dagger, and not one of us was over 5'3".
True.
We all just look at each other and go, this is the thing. Which was great. I only really remember, like, I remember 2 of them, but one more than the rest because she actually did battle. So we ran into each other every day because she was on the other forces. She was with the Imperium scum. So she was with the Imperium, and yeah, so we actually got to fight like on the battlefield once, and that was really awesome. So there we are, all 4 of us, 5'3" girls with daggers, going, what the fuck are we supposed to do? And they're like, so we just kind of watch, right, for a little bit, and we have to do some basic like hit your opponent, like actually hit them so you know how hard you can do it. So there was some of that. So I'm like, I've never really hit anyone like this, so okay. But then as we go out, they're like, so they look at the other forces and then they look at ours before the battle. And our leaders are basically like, we need spears. Spears win wars. We need spears and more of them. And I'm like, I watch spear training. Okay. So here I am, and I pick up spear. I guess I'll pop it back up, so you at least. There I am in the front with a spear. This was actually day 3. But
oh wait, is that a picture of ours?
Did I not say no?
No.
Oh.
What?
Oh, okay. Then
What?
let me.
Okay, yeah, pull that up.
Oh, well,
I need to see this. I need to see a picture of me.
The zoom. I tried to do a zoom and it didn't go very well.
Yeah.
That's because the pic. Well, yeah, because the picture was bad. Is this any
Yeah.
better? Maybe not. But
Yeah,
anywho, so there's me. I centered on myself because
I can't see chat. I can't read that tiny.
Oh yeah. I'll put it back up. So that was us. Here we go. Oh, you fought with your sisters. That is true. You have a dagger. Go ahead and stab your opponents and you know how hard you can stab them.
I did get shanked on the final day. Someone did assassinate me. Shank.
Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning. Eventually we'll get more into it, but I had to give him at least a little tease of why you would stay and listen to this like 2-hour tale. And there are tales of, we literally had to run during a storm and a tornado warning. In story, it was right after magic had been restored. And there might be dragons in the future, so that's fun.
This is late night, so I can just talk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you give them the tease about the tent fuckers?
I did say tent fuckers, yes.
All right, excellent.
We'll get to the tent fuckers.
Is a wonderful story.
That's Friday. That's the Friday story. So right now we are on...
we're
wait, I'm still covered.
We're still in Thursday.
We are still on Thursday.
So we did the battle. It was a King of the Hill style where you just had to control different points. But what made the battle super interesting is that the worst enemy was not each other. It was the burrs. So many fucking burrs. It hurt. It hurt to get them. It hurt to flick them off or pick them off. And everyone got them. That was
they are not native to our, like, we have our own evil plants that stick you and prick you and whatever. Don't get me wrong.
These stick with you.
And they got on everything. There was
cat.
It was day one. I believe it was day one. I had to help pick burrs out of, like, the other team's general's ass because she was wearing tights. She had, like, a lot of armor on, actually. It was just where her armor was, like, tights. And she died in a glorious way, but ended up covered in burrs. And due to her armor, could not get them off. So we had to we didn't hold her or anything. But it was a temporary truce of 2 on each side. Like, no, hold on. You got one in your hair. Like, we got you, sweetie. Like, it was one of those.
Something soft in the lawn instead of
our horribly uneven concrete basement
with the Berber carpet.
Yeah, it's great. So battling was actually super fun.
It really was. I've only done one LARP battle before. Charging out onto that battlefield with 50 other people on each side is entirely different. You have actual shield walls, people using tactics, brace your foot behind the shield, lock your shields together, move forward together. There was battle strategy. It was intense.
It was like 9 shield on each side. We had an actual small shield wall, and then we'd have some break off. There are archers, which, holy crap, I don't know his name, but the guy in the blue guy,
Francesco.
This guy.
Oh, he was deadly.
It was insane how good he was. He hit me. I had my spear like this, and I'm approaching, and he hit my friggin' hand. And I just literally went, that was amazing. And he just started cracking up. I'm like, I'm sorry.
And he did that kind of stuff all the time. Like
it was so good.
Did you know he is like the best archer of the Robin Hood Ren Fair? Like,
well, that makes sense.
If not the best, he's like one of the people that's been doing it at that high of a level for a long time.
Yeah, it was like moving and shooting. It's like fucking Legolas over there, except with short dark hair.
He would strafe, pop, pop. It was
really cool.
It sucked to face against him, but it was also very very respectful that he's just so good.
He was really, really good.
He's a great bartender too.
Let's see. Any other thing? So the battle was simply go out. There were some supply bags, and then so we had to have like our fastest people run out first, get as many supply bags. There was 10 in the middle, so just have as many people as you can run out, get as many supply bags, bring them back to the camp, and then it was basically a timer. So there were 3 timers, or there was more than that. There was like 6 or something.
There's about 5 or 6 timers.
And, 2 were closest to our base, 2 were closest to theirs, and then there was kind of the 2 maybe.
There's kind of 2 in the middle that you could fight over.
So those are the ones. Yeah, if you can get the middle, you can kind of get it. So we end up if
you hold the middle, you win. Like that is the key one.
Yeah. So it was just really awesome. Just running in and like I got hit, I hit people. It feels really crazy to like get hit with a sword and be like, I'm okay. Like, you know, when you actually get hit and you're like, no, I can take that. Like,
Wow.
like I'm strong. You know, like I'm strong enough. Like I got this.
It's a thud. It's a thud. It doesn't hurt, but it's like, I know I just got hit.
Yeah, but it also like it wasn't scary. Like after the first time you kind of get hit, you're not like afraid to get hit, you know?
After that, you're just afraid. The reason you're afraid to get hit is you don't want to die. And you have to go all the way back. All the way back to spawn point. Tap your weapon
the burrs.
And walk all the way back through the burrs. And just everyone being halfway dehydrated.
Yeah, so because
there were some rough people.
It was hot, and I gotta give it to these guys. They were in a guild called the Order, and they... Oh my god, these guys were in all black with hints of red, all metal armor,
full plate mail head to toe,
and
thick plate mail. Not that thin shit. Like this is battle ready,
real
plate mail.
Shit, and they were intimidating as hell. Like I was not gonna run towards one of them in the battlefield.
They were good
in real life, like off the battlefield.
Wonderful.
Really great people.
Everyone was wonderful.
Everyone was great. Even the assassins were nice.
Right.
But on the battlefield, I am so glad like they fought on our side. Because they fought on our side every fight.
Yeah. They're part of the League to Freehold.
Yeah, so I'm just glad that I never had to actually battle any of them. So it is now Thursday. We have had our first battle. We won. We kind of weren't really sure because when you looked at the other team, then you looked at us, and it was easy to feel a little like Little Giants-y. But we were like, we're gonna do this, and we did, and we ended up winning. We got more bags than them, which really helped out too. So our prize, what the hell was our prize? Did we even get a prize? Because the Imperium got something for day 2. Spoiler, we got our asses kicked.
I honestly don't know. I don't think we did.
I think we did. So, while in all of this that I'm saying, like, oh, and we're battling, there's an entire political war happening. But here's why it's interesting. Because none of this is real and impacts our actual day-to-day lives.
We were literally living an organic D&D campaign where you have people that don't want to be fighters. There were people that were just simply informants. Or people that were traders. They would just trade with other players or gamblers. Storytellers. Researchers. Like, who is the girl? Who is the girl that the elf council lady?
Fennel.
I think it was someone within her guild that there was like kind of a library there that they were able to get deeper into the lore of Hynafol. And I was like, there was a library?
I know! I never made it to the library. I never made it to...
But these political dealings, these alliances, at one point, at one point, there was a guild, an entire guild, that was bought, like another player or another guild paid them with in-game currency to basically switch sides.
Wait, which one was that?
Day 2.
Spoilers, I guess. Okay. Thursday night. So Thursday night was going to be the Night of Magic, which we ended up not doing.
Unfortunately, but...
It was unfortunate.
But that's because everything there is ish and there's no clocks.
That's true. Oh, no, we tried to find... Didn't we try to find the thing that was high or low in the pub?
No, that was Friday.
I thought we started trying to do that on... maybe not.
No, because we turned it in Saturday. We turned it in Saturday.
Oh, yeah. These days were very, very long.
Time is relative when you're LARPing.
It is. And you have no clocks. Or access to what time it is. It was very simple and nice. I have to just say at this point, I think, did we take a shower? We just, tried to
Yeah.
relax because we were both exhausted.
Yeah.
Mind you, in order to do this, like, we had already done battle training for the day, went and got our gear on. It was probably a 15-minute walk to the battlefield.
Yeah.
It's about a 15-minute march to the battlefield, in which case, you know, you have to walk another football field length to get to your area, and
Everyone's in full gear.
yeah, you're all in full gear, so it's like you kind of set down anything extra, hydrate, prepare, you know, that's when the generals kind of like gave the battle strategies a bit more. And so by the time you're done, you're exhausted. You have to trug at least 15 minutes to get back. Our tent was probably a 10-minute walk from the castle. So I have short legs.
Yeah, short legs 10 minutes, my legs 7.
Yeah. So even after the battle is done, you're exhausted. You have another half hour until you can even get back to your tent to take your gear off. So we were absolutely spent. Chilled for a little bit, got our dinner, and then that was when we kind of started spending more time in the lodge.
I don't think people were up at the lodge quite yet, because that was the night that terror struck.
Yeah, we're not to terror. It's not dark yet.
There was literal dread that night.
Yeah, like it was scary. But I will say the best thing about the dread or the scare was that I knew it was all in game. At no point in Hynafol did I ever actually fear for my well-being.
I never felt unsafe.
Yeah, I never worried someone was creeping on me. I never worried somebody was following me. I never felt unsafe walking in the dark by myself. I completely was at ease, but for other reasons there was dread in the air. So maybe we were more at the.
I think we were just at the tavern for a little bit, and then we kind of dispersed.
We just all kind of wandering around.
It was starting to get dark, and I knew that around 6:30, 8 o'clock or so, there's something that's going to go on.
Yeah.
So I started lurking, and one thing I didn't talk about, the night before on day 1, I was lurking out in the shadows, and I saw a deal, like a handshake being made with someone from one of the guilds and someone that wore a complete blank white mask. And I was like, that's interesting. Who the hell is that?
Right? So I do not know who this is.
And I'm talking to my informants, contacts, and they're like, I don't know who the hell this is. So then fast forward end of day 2 there.
It's starting.
Or night of day 2, I'm leaning up against the lodge in the shadows, and I hear the what we now know as mimics and shades gathering, and I heard the call for them to start rushing out into Hynafol and attack. So it was a bunch of players that signed up to be these NPCs that all of them wore some kind of white mask, or the shades were a red mask, and they went out and attacked Hynafol, the people there. If you were sitting there at the bar drinking, they were coming in and attacking you. I was down in the March Warden, or I was sprinting down the hill trying to alert everyone I could, and I got to the March Warden area, made that initial loop through, and by then 4 mimics and a shade were right there. And I was like, oh, fuck. Swords!
Yeah. So, I was not near where you had seen them, right? So that's why I think maybe I was near the lodge, because I wasn't near camp. So the lodge is just kind of it wasn't a tavern, because everything was free. It was literally a free lodge to come rest for wary travelers and monster hunters. They had breads and cheeses, beer, wine, whiskey, whatever, all
Praise
for free.
to the lodge man.
Praise to the lodge man. It was all legit for free. It was one of those, I even tried to give them money. I still did give them some money, but they were like, no, what are you doing? And I'm like, you fucking paid for I've probably drank at least $10 worth of alcohol here tonight. Take some money.
Mm-hmm.
So But they were great.
They worked
But then,
their ass off.
and someone was like, I'm hearing that the woods aren't safe. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're like, something's out there. If you someone's like, there are things out there. If you travel, you need a light. Or no, you just get a weapon. Because we didn't know. We didn't find out about the light until later. Because the first one I had heard was, there's something out there that the only way to kill it is to kill yourself. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Mimics. So, and then someone comes in, they're like, get a light. Everybody get a light. There's something out there. It'll attack you if you don't have a light. Luckily, we had some because it was dark and I was traveling. But for those who were with other people, they're like, well, we have 1 light and 2 people. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. You have to have a light in order for the shades to not attack you.
And the Shades had a special kind of weapon called a red weapon, which, if a red weapon touches you, or even touches your weapon, you're dead. You can't. Yeah. You cannot block them. If they attack you, you have to dodge or run away, or you die.
Yeah. So that was neat. So I hear all of this, and I had actually I was probably about like maybe a bit done. I was like, I need to get from point A to point B, and I'd also. Oh, yeah. So you were gone battling. Kendra and Dominic had went somewhere else. William was off doing his own thing. And I had gotten separated from everyone. And all I know is there's shit out there that you might have to fight. And I have a dagger. And I don't know how to fight. I've also had a few drinks. I just had to piss. So I thought of the one thing. And that was the battle whatever. And it's like, if you're dead and you just need to prove you're dead, just put your weapon upside down, right? So I was like, oh, I just have to pee. I don't care if there's something in the shadows. And so I just like held my weapon out upside down and I pointed my light to it. I just beeline like straight for the bathroom. Like, just let me go. You can attack me after I pee. I promise. Just do not do this or I will literally piss myself. Because you have to walk so far to get to the porta potties, you know?
During that event, I missed like half of that event, actually. The service dog had gotten off its leash, and I spent half of the event running around trying to find everyone, saying, you know, she lost this dog, be on the lookout. I would run into a bunch of mimics, and they'd be like, ha! And I'd be like, out of character, lady lost dog, please be on the lookout. And I'd just go to the next group, and they're like, oh shit, thanks, we'll look for it.
We'll look. Because at the end of the day, everybody's just there to have fun.
Everyone's a friend there.
Everybody spent a lot of money to go there and forget that they have real lives. So nobody was going to break that for someone else.
I was genuinely happy there.
It was... I mean, I guess I was there with you, but... Okay. So... Mimics and Shades are out. I didn't know what to do. So all I heard was there's something out there that'll get you if you don't have a light. And then I see this other thing. I hear there's a mimic, and I'm like, okay, I guess. So I'm walking. Maybe I think I'm walking back towards the tent because I was trying to find people or whatever. And out comes a mimic, and I'm like, okay, Liz, be brave. I was not brave. Be brave. So I just go, oh boy. The mimic, oh boy. Like, just this, and I'm like, okay, you know, and they cross their arms.
And they go, okay. I'll be the mimic.
But it's just like, I kind of get my dagger out. Their weapon out.
Or main hand.
Or whatever.
Offhand.
Yeah, so I'm just like, so I get the weapon out, and I'm like, okay, so I don't want to die because someone said I have to kill myself to kill you, and I don't want to do that because I'm not a fighter.
I don't want to kill myself because
I kept going, but yeah, so I was like, so if I can't fight you and I can't get around you...
Can't get around you.
Do you want to go to the pub?
You want to go to the pub?
All right, let's go. I just walked to the pub. And the mimic followed me for about 2-3 minutes and then went to go find someone else. That was and I got back and I was like, Okay. I have some information. I mean, they're like, what? And I was like, so good news. You can get around the mimics if you just simply walk to the bar. And they're like, what? And I went, that's how I just got away. I just walked to the pub.
Just keep your weapon sheathed, acknowledge them, and walk them up. Yeah. At one point, I like, did the elbow touch thing, like put your like, walked up to the bar with a mimic, and then after a few minutes, she went off to another person.
But it was like, it was the first time in the game where I was really like, oh, haha, like, oh, there's something way more to this that has been a little more behind the scenes that came out.
And it was actually, there was a serious sense of dread. Like, I was walking around without a candle, and they would descend upon me from the shadows, and it was, walk around and try to be as quiet as you can, looking for any movement that you need to run from.
Yeah. So by the end of Thursday night, I was exhausted and promptly passed the fuck out, right? I was okay at this point where I'm like, but I was way more in character. Like, I was having more fun, but it was really frustrating because that night I had gotten separated from like everyone I knew for an hour, and I wasn't really like comfortable yet, so I kind of wanted to be by someone. I was just like hoping, because there was like, oh, we'll just be at the lodge, oh, we'll just be at the pub, like drinking or whatever.
So you like good lodge friends.
I did eventually. I did. But so yeah, I just went back to bed. So that was my Thursday night.
Friday was eventful.
Friday is a birthday I will never forget as long as I live.
And we will make it up.
I don't know, like, lightning bolt, tent fuckers, demons, magic,
tornadoes,
orcs, dwarves, balls,
exploiting game mechanics,
balls, lots of balls. That's not clean. I'm not drinking that. Near.
Oh no, there was something in that. I'll be right back.
Can you bring a drink?
Sure.
Okay, I will let him explain that. But the little ball that he just tried to put in my drink, is part of a dwarven drinking game that only the dwarves actually have to participate in. I just choose to because I'm an honorary dwarf. But the balls, that was next to our dirty laundry that I dug out simply to have as a prop. I would not eat nor drink anything that has come in contact with that ball. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, when in doubt, go back to the pub. Well, he's coming. Any questions or anything? I mean, is it just a nice story time in the background of your evening? I have so many fucking bumps and bites and shit. I'm gonna be fighting them forever. I have this. This is battle. These are from spear and stuff and falling. Yeah, Thursday's battle was fun. I have a massive ass bruise though on my right knee, and it's really sore. And it is not actually from a battle. It is sadly from one of the worst battles of all, and that was tree roots, because all these really cool trees they have on the property have these roots that kind of like grow out of the ground. And I fell, and it was dark because it was nighttime. I fell over a tree root, and my knee landed on a tree root that was sticking down, and I have this ridiculous bruise on my right knee. It's not pleasant, and it hurts a lot. Was the trees from Mystic Knights of Tirnanog? Maybe. I have massive. I won't even show you. No, I'm not going to show you like my heels, but I have huge craters in my heels from blisters. Even though I broke in the shoes, I wore them for a month, or I wore them for at least 2 solid weeks before. It didn't do any good. I haven't explained the ball yet. I was gonna wait until Friday for the dwarves. Yeah. So Friday, the dawn of the tent fuckers.
Dawn of the third day.
Ding. Friday, I awake. It's my birthday. Thank you to all the birthday messages. I woke up and I checked my phone for a little while, and it was nice to have some. So it was nice. And then it was biscuits and gravy. It was breakfast and like eggs and stuff. So I was like,
good.
Yeah,
that's nice I needed that because I barely ate those first few days.
I know. I didn't either. It was like you're so tired and exhausted, you don't really just want to eat that much. And I just can't believe, yeah, it was crazy. I lost an entire belt loop while I was there. My blue belt that I was wearing went from I'm on the like last loop to I need new notches made into it. I missed the beginning. How did you get assigned to the guild? We actually had to pick our own guild. Mm-hmm. So we picked Nova Vitae because of their strong sense of justice and
they protect the downtrodden.
Yes, fight for the weak, protect the downtrodden, end slavery for those random said regions who may still have it. Basic things like that. So I would say like freedom fighters, but we are the knights of good.
The cat wants up.
The cat tried to attack me because I wasn't petting her fast enough for the beginning half of the stream.
The little bitch?
Yeah, rewind to the beginning. You're going to be like, I think Rangerless's cat's going to eat her. Maybe. My nails also, oh my God. My cuticles, my nails, everything.
My all broke.
So dried out. All of his guitar, because he does like classical guitar. So he has nails on one hand, which is weird, just one hand.
They all broke. All of them.
Yeah, so I started taking at least a few things. Oh, no. Here we go. So Thursday's battle was there was a box and
Friday.
We opened it. Or was that Friday morning?
Yeah, you're on Friday.
No, but I think that was me catching up to what happened Thursday.
Okay.
But anyway, so there was a box that was found. When they opened it was Merlin's box. When they opened it, it had two things. There was the map, and then...
I think there was a clue.
There was like a clue, and then a map, and it had like the round table on it. And it was, when all of the seats are properly filled, he shall come back. Or something. So, like, oh, well, that's not foreboding at all. Mind you, the kingdom, one of the people who are in have an empress, and their area, they're trying to control it as well under one, and we're like we're like freedom for all, every man has a voice, like no monarchy. So now we have this like, battle over Hynafol here. So now Merlin and magic and yada yada. But what should happen...
up till now, magic wasn't a thing in Hynafol. Like, magic went away when King Arthur was defeated. But now magic is starting to come back. And it's like, uh-oh.
Because people want it back. So how do you get magic to come back to a kingdom where it isn't? You start invoking some sisters. And it was the 7 sisters, now 9 sisters. Their guild grew a little bit during the event. Oh, man. The 7 sisters did a summoning, basically, to summon magic back to Hynafol.
Full-on ritual. Like, if you walked up, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I shouldn't be here. Oh, God.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it is all... Oh, my God, well done.
So, apparently... Not apparently. There's a videographer by there the whole time. There are videographers and cameramen and stuff there. No, not a ton. Like, there's 2. There are 2 people there. They're also fully in garb, so you don't, like, notice. There was someone there with, like, a small GoPro kind of doing stuff where it wouldn't take you out of the immersion too much.
Not at all.
But, yeah, apparently that happened. But that was Friday night. So, Friday during the day, oh, my God, there was so much shit that happened.
The 7 sisters, or 9 sisters thing, their summoning happened close to night, because that was right before the storm.
That was right before the storm.
Every time the high priestess, like, started saying something, the wind started blowing in the
trees.
Well, you were just talking about the summoning.
I'm trying to. We gotta get to the beginning. What happened Friday morning? I don't even remember. We had breakfast.
We had breakfast and then we went to battle.
That's about it. Battle. Here's the thing.
It was like breakfast, walk around, battle.
Yeah, my birthday was interesting. So magic is starting to come back. There was an alchemist who apparently has brewed a potion, and we find out going that the other forces might have a potion. Now, a lot of our people between day 1 and day 2 for battling did not continue for day 2. We had half the amount of people.
I would say we were outnumbered 3-1.
We were outnumbered 3-1. So we all already were like, son of a bitch. Because, like, I wasn't even going to battle on day 2. I was planning on resting, and then so I could battle again on day 3. Because it really does freaking take the life out of you. And it was...
And most of the people that were there on day 2 were already severely dehydrated from day 1 and from drinking night of day 1.
Because day 1's battle was a 30-minute battle. No breaks. 30-minute battle. And then they realized, we can't do this in Texas. They were using the rules from the Canadian one, where the weather isn't nearly as bad and you can battle for that long. They're like, so today the battle is going to be 2 15-minute periods. I'm like, thank God.
With a 15-minute break.
With a 15-minute break so you can hydrate. So that was really good. But we get to the battle and we hear there's invincibility potions. And if you have an invincibility potion, you simply just cannot die. And this was a game of clocks, again, where you had to, it was all about controlling the clock. But you could also freeze a clock and not let the other team score anymore on it. Like, you couldn't score anymore on it, but neither could the other team. So, yeah, it'd be Colleen rules. But we had to kind of modify it a little bit for... Well, also for the fact that we didn't have a 1,500 person team. We had like 60. So
about 60, been 60 usually.
60 and 60. So yeah, but for the most part, it was all kind of based on like Beacoline rules. This sucked. Okay, so the battle started, and we no sooner but get going, but I hear this. I'm invincible. No one can, like, I'm invincible. And he
Praise the sun. Praise the sun.
He was
sprinting down the field.
He was a sun bro. So then there were 3 invincibility potions on the field. It's a 15-minute period. The invincibility potions last for 10. They get 3 of the clocks.
10 minutes.
3 of the clocks have those. So then they just battle for a while because we're like, well, we can't literally, like, his hand's on the clock. We can't touch it, you know? So we try to battle the other ones, and then after the other team hold them for so long, they just took the clocks up. And we're like, so we have...
Story did walk around and remove 2 of them and left 1 out, which... It helped balance it, but it was too late in the fight to balance
it. Was.
Our team's morale was destroyed.
There's more to it. Like, and I'll explain after, like, what actually ended up happening, like, out of game, kind of, there's some context to it. It was not supposed to have happened. It was someone finding a bug in the game, basically.
They exploited the rules.
They exploited the rules in a way, it wasn't expected to have been done. So... Yeah, so our morale was done. I mean, our general basically said, stand here and rest. Like, why even go out there and fight? And it was just like...
I agree.
Fuck this.
It's hot as hell. I want to sit here and drink water.
Yeah, so I am already... Oh, I sat my stuff down because I wasn't planning on battling. So I set my stuff down and I got burrs all over everything. So I spent the first fight... after I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to fight. I will simply pick all of the burrs out of my stuff. And that's what I did for, like, the whole first fight and the rest. And then for the first few minutes of the second fight, but once I was finally done, Kendra helped me. She is absolutely lovely.
She is so
she's so wonderful. She's like, no, I'll help you. So she helped me, and so she was like, okay, well, I'm going to, get back running, because she was like, I'm tired anyway, like, I'm going to use this as a rest. So I ran out, and I was on the battlefield. Here I am trying to get my morale back up. I was on the battlefield for maybe 3 minutes, and I get knocked backwards, not a fault of anyone. Just simply, I got hit, tried to step back, lost my balance, but I couldn't brace myself. Like, I had a pole arm, I was whatever, so I just fell. And I just completely, like, ass head right on the ground. Just smacked me.
All of her butt, up the back.
In my hair, in pain, obviously, tears in my eyes because I just cracked the back of my head on the ground with no brace. So, yeah, I'm like, well, that was my birthday battle, so that fucking sucked. So afterwards, basically, I was in the back and people were picking burrs off of me. And I was like, great. So after that, we showered because, by God, we had to shower.
Thanks, Reed.
Got ready and then by the time, because then we had to rush and get ready because it was the masquerade ball. Well, actually, it was going to be the Night of Magic. We had to rush to get ready because it was going to be the Night of Magic, which we ended up not participating in. It was going to be teams of 5, and just time gets away from you,
Mm-hmm.
So time gets away from you. So I was there. I think maybe I was there first, and then you showed up, and then we just, like, the rest of our party,
it just didn't happen. It just
didn't happen. So yeah, but we're still there, and we're like, okay. So we it started. We started walking off. We found our friends. We're like, well, let's just go to the lodge. Yeah. But yeah. So it was the Night of Magic that all ended, and then there was the masquerade, which was by Sellers Keep, which we went to. It was at the pub, and masquerade. There wasn't a lot there, but
it was just walking around and chatting.
It was a lot of walking around and chatting. We all had our masquerade masks on, but the
masquerade ball was put on by Sellers Keep,
which you should know is literally the Assassin Guild. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? Anybody who drinks, they're like, oh, we have refreshments for everyone if you would like one. And I'm like, I do not want to be murdered, so we're just gonna say no. And guess what happened to the people that did it? Oh, there were rage potions. There were insta-deaths. There were
like embarrassment ones. Like there was a guy walking around crab walk, and
he was crab walking.
He was acting like a llama.
Yeah, there was one guy who was a llama. Like, you've been transformed into a llama for 10 minutes.
Table and he's just like, nah.
What? All right, Bandit. Wait, that's yours. Yeah, so I did not want to be in that. Also, I should say, so there were the Assassin's Guild, I should say, there were assassinations. So you could be killed. Our friend Dominic had his name put on the board, and William.
And Easy Keezy.
Easy Keezy was the sweetest.
Delightful.
She was her. How old do you think she was? 70 maybe?
Oh, she was 70 to 80 somewhere.
70 to 80. Had this beautiful floral like ring around her head, like these robes.
Her hats were glorious.
She was just this super nice old lady, and we just sat at the pub and talked to her until William killed her.
Yeah.
Someone killed her.
Her acting when that happened was great. It was like he had been poisoned. We're in this crowded pub of everyone, and she just went... just like screaming.
And obviously everybody at the pub looks and is like,
oh my God,
and so
this old lady's dying.
Is there a healer? Is there a healer?
I'm okay.
And so, yeah, our cat does worry about us. Is there a healer? And so healers come running in and, save her. Yeah, they have my ears.
I'm sorry.
So, also on Friday, I believe, maybe it was earlier, I realized my name had gotten put on the board. Or maybe it was even Thursday. My name had gotten put on the board. And you get currency when you get there. So we got a coin, or not a coin, it was a gem with a symbol on it. And you had to find a merchant who could appraise it and tell you, you know, what all of this was worth. So my friend being in the seller's place, let me know kindly that someone might be after my head. But for a price, anything can happen. And my head was saved after all. In the most absolute, maybe badass thing I had ever done in my life. You know, being in a cloak with a hood, talking to a rogue about my impending death, having the money. I have it in a spare pouch, like a little. Anytime I get little extra pouches like this, like I like to save them for things. So I had things like this, and it had one coin in it. This isn't the coin, but this is like representative. It was just like a gem like this. This is what they call like their gold or their currency, except they had wrote like a symbol on it for what it was supposed to be. And yeah, mine was only worth 10. It was not a lot, but so I had it in a pouch like this.
10 was actually quite a bit.
So I had a pouch like this, and I'm just like, yeah. He's like, I can make it. He's like, I can save your head. So I wait a second, and I go, William? And he goes, huh? I give him a nod, and I take this, my thing of money, and I just throw it at him, catches it in his lap. He gives me the nod. I give him a nod. He goes, I shall see you all later. And he gets up. Find him later in the night.
He was a shady dealer and
informant.
He was so fucking good at it.
He was so good. He was so good.
And how he lured Keezy into it. Like, I'm kind of going back to that ball, but he can hold a conversation and keep it going really well. And really deceive people. It was incredible.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. And then while William was away, I think he came back later, Dominic and I ended up at the pub. Not at the pub, we ended up at the lodge. You were not there for this. I think William was there. Kendra, I don't think was maybe even there. I have a weird feeling like it was just Dominic and I, and then like William was on the other side. Anywho, Dominic gets poisoned.
Yes, I wasn't there.
He gets poisoned while we were at the pub, actually. So we were leaving the masquerade ball, right? Left the masquerade ball, we went to the lodge, and all of a sudden, he starts freaking the fuck out. So he has this rage.
He was enraged. Like, the poison was an enraged
It was an enraging poison. And he attacks the closest person to him, which was me and the lodge master. Because he's like, if this is the table, like here, William is here, Dominic is like here, and I'm here. So Dominic has to get past me to get out. So I actually have no idea. So when you get these cards, you don't tell anyone. So like, you don't have someone out, like you just start freaking out and people have to figure out what the hell is going on.
So Dominic pulled out his great sword. Like he had a great sword for a
he
weapon.
Pulls out his great sword in the middle of the lodge, and the lodge master's like, whoa, no fighting in the lodge. I will fight all of you with my 2 hands. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Dominic! Like, what's going wrong with you, lad? Like, get him out! And so I grab a nearby.
Knowing everyone's in character, you know that you're still in a safe position.
Yeah. So I grab like
so well
the nearest weapon, and I think it was not Captain. What is his name? The pirate guy, the bartender of the lodge, the pirate guy that I hung out with a lot. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember.
Anywho, he handed me a sword. I think it was him. He was like, here. And so I grab it, and I kind of like, me and the lodge master are kind of like getting into William at this point's on the other side, and we kind of like push him, down the stairs of the lodge, and he's got his great fucking sword, and he's at the bottom. It's only like 4 steps, right? So he's there, and I'm at the top, and I'm like, Dominic, you do not know yourself. What is wrong with you, friend? And I'll fight all of you in the name of vengeance. It's just, yeah. So this is what's going on. So No, he got I swear all of our days are running together.
No. I don't know. But we are up to the climax.
Not
Friday.
quite the climax. I'll show you. This is.
You're right. First we have the storm.
There you
climax.
go. This was my name, and I was not put into the faceless box, so that was kind of cool. I asked for that specifically back because I wanted it back as a souvenir because I thought it was really fucking cool. Okay, so I've gone over poisons. That's Saturday. So Friday. My Friday. Oh no, it was.
We're already into the evening of Friday here.
I know. But I did just recall that I did not tell the story. This is why I think we have our days all confused about when people were like poisoned and whatever, is because Friday was the day I had to fight Kendra when she was poisoned. It was Thursday that Dominic was poisoned because it was the night before.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to deal with both their married asses.
Yeah, on Friday, Kendra got enraged because
during the battle.
That was supposed to be a double agent thing.
So yeah. So it was Thursday I had to fend Dominic off from the lodge. Mind you, Dominic and Kendra had just gotten married, literally posted, "We got married," and turned their phones off and AFK'd for the world for like 5 days. I was like, That's kind of amazing.
We got married. Yeet.
Yeah. They just yeeted themselves out. So it was Friday. I have to go back to the battle on Friday of the many things I said that kind of sucked. So there was another one where, Kendra told me because she had to have someone else like to do it with, like this RP thing. And so she's like, "Hey, I got this thing. I need someone to do it with." And I'm looking, and the only other people really with us are Ella, Maxie, and Dominic, who are fighters. And then there's the two of us girls, and we're like, "Oh, fuck this." And I'm like, No, I got you. She's like, "Okay, but we have to do it before the battle." I'm like, okay. So we go out to the battle. And then so she opens it up. She enrages. That's actually funny. I had to deal with both their married asses.
Yeah. And also, I guess you could say it was their honeymoon. I honestly don't know if they're going to do a honeymoon or if
maybe this was their honeymoon.
This would be a badass honeymoon if so.
It was a very interesting birthday. So mind you, all this, I'm like, it's my birthday. So yeah, Kendra, I had to fight her. So she started freaking out and trying to fight me in the middle of battle plans. So that was fun. So preemptively, she attacks me. So so I have a sword that I grab, and she has a sword. I don't know if she grabbed Dominic's or what, but she had like a big freaking sword. And so eventually we literally get her on the ground. So she's like on the ground, and like Dominic and I have like my arm like against her back, and like Dominic has his sword pointed at her, and we're like, "Calm yourself, woman, like healer." And
call a healer over, and they have to touch in like for a minute.
It's a minute, yeah.
Cover hand for a minute. To heal.
So but what would have been really fun got interrupted because there was actually like an in-game announcement that had to happen, so we had to stop sending it back to it. So that was just like, motherfucker, like that was supposed to have been really fun. That didn't happen really either.
I'm gonna be heading back up soon, so I want to get through the storm.
Okay, the storm and the tent fuckers. So here we go.
Thunderclaps and ass slaps. Here we go.
All right, make sure you're in frame now for this, okay? So here we are. We're at the lodge after the masquerade ball. Now I recall exactly where it was. The lodge were like, "Oh no, people are getting poisoned. Shall we need to go back to the ball and get we need to go from the lodge to the ball, get our friends and tell them stop drinking their shit, get back here before something happens."
We did spend a good chunk of time getting all of our shit off the floor in the tent because we knew there was a storm coming in.
Friday, we also lost a good chunk of our day preparing for the storm. So we're at the lodge, we're having a good time, but we kind of know that like a storm is going to be coming. So I'm like, I need to use the bathroom. Dominic's like, I need to use the privy also, I shall escort you. Because mind you, through all of this Friday night, the shades and the mimics are still out there. They didn't go anywhere. When night fell, they came back.
Oh, they did?
Oh yeah, I still had to get so Friday.
I didn't know they were still out Friday.
Friday, there were still some out Friday. Like
Shit.
people were still being escorted places. So Dominic escorts me to the privy. Like the gentleman he was, Kendra stayed back and watched all of our gear for us because you just did not want to have to deal with your belt and shit in the porta potty. We get back and not just, put my belt back on and get my cloak.
You were kind of jogging back in some decently heavy rain.
Some rain
like
starting
the rain
to fall.
started drizzle. Then it started really raining, and then it was downpouring.
And then we hear this. Get to the castle. Get to the castle. And you're like, because at first your brain can't separate
RP from real.
What is real and what is not. Because, we've been summoned to the castle before, but it's legit starting to pour down rain. And then you hear tornado warning, get to the castle for shelter, run.
Yeah. Tornado warning, get to the castle.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was terrifying.
It was. So you grabbed.
By the time he said, you guys walked in, 5 seconds later he came in and yelled that. By then it was a fucking monsoon.
It was pouring. So
and the wind.
Grab your stuff. I managed to get my cloak on while I was running to try to get something to cover my head.
Great job on Scotch guarding.
Oh, thank you. I did. I Scotch guarded all of our stuff so it would be kind of waterproof. Mine was, but. Yeah, so we get to the castle and it's legit fucking storming out. And you're like, I guess if the power goes out, at least we all have candles? Our tents don't have power.
Everyone
So
has LED
if the power went out, we would just go back to our tents because that's, what we would do. But while we're all in there, an orc comes out.
A very scary, very real looking orc.
Really good. I want to know.
Dude, this guy just stepped out of World of Warcraft.
The cosplay, the makeup, everything, it was on point. You just stood by him and you're like, that's a fucking orc.
Uh-huh.
So he decides to come up and address all of us that had seeking shelter in the castle, which was not all of us. It was just all who could kind of make it. There were probably some people who went to their own guilds, dwelling, to try to ride out the storm. But the orc basically lets us know that the orcs were there first. Arthur tried to take it from them. There was a giant bloodbath. And the orcs want their land back. And we're all just sitting here going, oh. And he goes, well, what say you? Do you wish to fight me and the orcs for your kingdom, or do you wish to leave? And it's like, lightning. And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't want to do anything right now. That
storm made everything way
the
more
only
dramatic.
thing I am going to do right now is piss myself in fear.
Yeah.
This storm, all of this, because also we had heard rumblings, you'd want to keep weapons on you because something might be happening at the castle, which I'm assuming was probably going to be
it was supposed to be that, him coming out and,
addressing everyone. We probably were going to have a battle or something.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to have happened, but instead he ended up addressing us in the Great Hall, which again was amazing. The rain, once it died down, we all were like, okay, we left. Went back to the lodge for just a moment while we kind of regrouped ourselves, got out of the group of people, and then it was
I walked down to our
go
tent
to the
at
tents.
that time.
Go to the tents.
You went to the lodge, and I immediately went down to the tents.
Yeah. I needed to mentally because at this point I'm I will never forget this birthday as long as I live. So I just needed to calm the fuck down. So I went to the lodge. I had a drink. He's like, I'm going to go do the preliminary, whatever. And I was just like, if you need me, come get me, So he comes back. And honestly,
you weren't there.
No. I think you need to take over a little bit of this story because until I interject myself literally to the situation of yelling, I had nothing to do with this. We shall switch.
Can you please get me a drink? I will require a drink.
I shall get you a beverage. Yeah, this is the tale of the tent fuckers.
The tale of the tent fuckers. So, I leave the lodge and I'm, descending down the hill, picking my way through the different paths, and all the walking paths had basically little channels dug through them because of the rain. And I was like, that was some heavy rain. It actually started eroding the road, and I'm walking down the hill. Prior to the storm, we learned that hill is where the river comes through, and our tent was at the very bottom of said hill. So that little eroding channel got deeper and wider as I went down the hill, and I was going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Luckily, there was a small ridge right in front of our tent, which prevented the water from getting up in ours. Just kind of hit that and turned. We got a little bit of water in our tent, but everything stayed dry. Our next door neighbors, Dominic and Kendra, again, their stuff stayed dry for the most part. A little bit got in their tent. But William and his other tent mates and several others down the road were not so fortunate. All of them got water completely throughout their tent, like all the way through the floor, because the tents don't have floors. You're just on bare ground, grass and dirt and rocks. All their stuff gets basically flooded, and I know William, every single bit of his gear, all of his clothes, everything got wet, so he had to hang it out to dry. However, as William was clearing out his tent, and I get finished checking my tent. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You need a drink, folks.
So I get finished checking out my tent, and I walk around the area, just checking on the other people, finding out, is there anyone else whose tent is flooded? Is there anyone who needs help with something?
This is what he does. He's a good guy.
I'm the inherent good guy. I have IGGS, inherent good guy syndrome. So I'm walking around helping everyone, and then I get around, I see William getting all of his stuff out of there, and I'm like, shit, man, that sucks. And he goes, shh. And he points to the tent across the road. And I hadn't really been paying attention up until then, but then you start hearing it. Oh my god, it started quiet. Moans of ecstasy and someone who wishes they were a porn star echo throughout the entire March Warden area. You could hear this for a good 100 feet in any direction from them.
The league that Freehold was getting a free show. Well, a free audio show, I guess.
Oh my god.
What's up, superheroes? This is what you got. What's up, man? Welcome to the chat.
So these tent fuckers are going at it for an hour. I'm not joking. I was down at my tent clearing it out. I talked to William. They're going at it. I go back up to the lodge, hang out there for a good half hour, walk back down. They're still going at it, and they are louder.
Yeah. So, no, I have multiple witnesses to this dude. So, enter me.
Superheroes, go to Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Lobos Jr. Watch his video from today. Same exact tale.
So here we are. So Keith tells me we're at the pub, or not the pub, we're at the lodge, and he tells us about the tent fuckers, and we're like, okay. Well, at this point, it's late. We're tired. Oh my god, no, it was the pub. It was the.
We're at the lodge. No, we didn't. We ended up dwarves. We were at the dwarves.
Oh my god, we ended with the dwarves. That's why it took you so.
Hospitable.
They had been going out for over an hour because you were with the dwarves with me for
like a good half hour.
Oh my god, at least. So I was there with Kendra first for a while, and then you showed up, wasn't it? Or did we walk? No, you walked there together. She had to show me where it was. Anyway, the dwarf balls. But anyway, so we drank with dwarves, but we have to finish the tent fuckers.
Yeah, so we're at the dwarves for a while. We go back, and like I said, a good hour later, they're still going at it. They got louder. You can hear some other people say, "Shut the fuck up, I'm trying to sleep," or just anything. There was about 3 tents down from them was a lady, her husband, and maybe like a 2-year-old toddler trying
Yeah.
to sleep.
There were other families with was probably that younger girl was probably what, like 9
Yeah, I mean,
or so.
kids between like 2 and 16, multiple, like all throughout that area, that are just hearing these ass slaps and moans.
Oh, so
Oh my god.
I decided to do
We were all fucking tired. We're like, go in the bathroom, go to bed.
go to the bathroom, go to bed. But I couldn't take it because I had had one fucking hell of a day. And when I walked by their tent, I yelled, "Fuck off! We're trying to sleep!" Very loudly at their tent.
Others heard that.
Oh no, I yelled it loud. They could have heard that 200 feet away on the campsite. I made sure I yelled it directly at them and very loudly so they would know. Then we go and we get ready and stuff for sleep. And when I start walking back to the tent,
you guys, I mean, we got some stuff in the tent. You guys went to the bathroom. I saw their tent light turned on and I lurked. Yeah. I saw okay. I saw the individual, the man who walked out of that tent, and he proceeded to walk toward the bathrooms. He walked by our group, and I heard him say, "Do you hear that lady that screams, 'Be quiet, we're trying to sleep'? What was that about?" I follow, the bathroom thing, you like walk into this area and there's like, 7 porta potties. I follow him in there and he's at the sink where you wash your hands. And I fucking lay into him, just screaming at him about how fucking disrespectful he is and how much of a piece of shit he is for doing this around families and for not having a fucking care about anyone. And I told him, "You ruined this for a lot of people." He didn't look back. And then William next to me, he was like, "Have you no fucking respect, man? Fuck you."
Yeah. And later, I had one last yell, and that was when it started. I started hearing it again, and I just yelled, "Knock it the fuck off! Shut it!"
I didn't know they started it again.
I heard it again. I had to yell. I yelled it again. I was, "Wait, I'm not kidding! Shut the fuck up!"
Oh yeah, that was before they walked out.
Oh yeah, whatever. Either way, look, I had to yell.
They did not. They did not start that back up after.
So yeah, that is the tale of the tent fuckers that we had to yell because people could hear them loudly all over. It was disturbing.
This is going to be chronicled in the wiki of Hynafol, actually.
Oh, we totally are. We're totally chronicling this in the wiki because if you decide to become a tent fucker, you will be shamed loudly and publicly.
Louder than they were, which was pretty damn loud.
Yeah, they weren't expecting. They weren't expecting the amount of loudness we can be because we have years of practice. So.
Capoing prepared me well for the eardrum screaming bashing screaming I gave him.
Yeah. I think he got the point.
He got the point.
There was no more noise out of their tent any more nights. No, there was not.
All right, I'm gonna head upstairs, but that was the end of Friday day.
The tale of
day
the tent
3.
fuckers.
Yeah.
So I've left us. We have Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Well, thanks all for listening to the tale. Enjoy the rest.
Oh, yes. Let me put that back up there. Oh. Who did that on Family Ice? The tent fuckers. I don't know. There we are. Little heating pad over there. Oh my gosh. They had some clap cheeks. It was horrible. So yeah, what else? I feel like the dwarves. Oh, the wooden balls. He took it upstairs. The dwarves have this game, and it's just a wooden ball. And if they put it in your drink, because everybody's drinking out of like mugs and stuff, you know, like you don't have aluminum cans. If you're a dwarf and you put one of these balls in another dwarf's cup, they have to finish the cup, right? So it's a drinking game of theirs. They didn't know what hit them when I went in there. Because, just throwing this out there, this was my birthday on Friday. I had a monsoon. I didn't have a great... I will tell you, I will never forget my birthday. I'm not saying it was because it was the best day ever. It's because it was the most interesting day ever. So, yeah, it was a day. Orcs there, Arthur, yeah, Round Table and Magic. Saturday, we hear that the Imperium has unleashed a monster. So we're like, fuck. So we literally had to fight a monster on the battlefield. We learn way more about the monster later, and that's going to be in like the epilogue of this, of like things I have since found out. But we get instructions on how to fight this monster. If it touches you, you're dead. It has a red weapon. If it touches you, you're dead. So at some point there's like strategy to like literally throw bodies at like one side to distract it, so you know others can hit it in the back. It was so well done. I can't wait for the video to come out and the pictures, because I will be sharing them with you guys, because this is such an amazing thing. If you have ever been like, this sounds interesting, you got to give it a shot. Again, especially if you're just listening to this and, oh no, show that. Auto moderate was like, Tony, we can't show that message. And I'm like, oh yes, we can show Tony's message on my chat. Orcs and storms and tent fuckers. Oh my. It was, because, so I ended up in it was after the storm, you know, whatever, Alamaxi, I went to go check out the tent. I was still hanging out with the dwarves and learning about their drinking game. And they did not know what hit them whenever I came in, because I was like, okay, glug. And I took the ball out and I put it in theirs and like stared them straight in the face. And they were like, okay then. So I had a lot of fun. They also had some good beer. So I was pretty happy with that. They had like a stout, which was probably not great because I drank a lot of stout and then I got drunk very quick. But it was also from the fairy. It wasn't a fairy, she was a fae. It was also from the fae passing around a green substance rolled about in a thing that you would find in the woods, perhaps. I was outside just getting some fresh air because it was kind of a small enclosure, you know. So I just like walked out for a second and I saw a circle and they were like, oh, I see, do you want to join? And I look, I'm like, it's my birthday. Sure. So that was fun. Yeah, drank a bit more, yelled at the tent fuckers, and then went to sleep. Saturday, I have to fight a monster. The monster was really freaking cool. The monster was like, it was already a big dude. The person who was in the suit was like 6'5" or whatever. It wasn't like a suit, but it was, so like, don't, when I say suit, don't think like a Power Ranger suit, you know, like it's not a full like spandex suit. But it was, you know, big armor on a big person, and it had this giant, like, mask that went much larger than the size of a regular head that lit up. All right, and just, like, extensions, you know, just really big. It was really cool, and it was scary, you know, on the battlefield, you see this thing walking all of a sudden towards your shield wall, and everyone's like, split, you know, because if it touches you, you're dead. But it was such a fun time. The battle was cool. The battle was cool. Even though, we ended up winning. That's spoiler alert. Saturday, so Saturday was the crazy day. They had a monster, you know, you wake up, breakfast was from 8 to 10. There are some things, like some of the days had, our friend Dominic won a pouch there was the Soul Olympics from the Langhold Guild. And the winner got like a giant sword. It was cool. It was like $175 LARP sword. It was really awesome. So there was that, which Dominic plays second in. So we, cheered him on in the morning, and then, it's like you have breakfast, you kind of do a little bit, and then you kind of just get ready for battle, because by 12:30 we want to be ready, because there's a 30-minute like battle prep where they kind of give you a little bit idea of what the fight's going to be like, can give you tips, pointers to help you out in the particular fight, things like that. It also to get us ready to go march out. So by the fight was, on day 3, I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to do it. But, I saw that monster and I was like, no, I'm going to go fight it. And I'm not shitting you. Like, when you legit get up to something that close, I know it's fake. I literally saw the guy put the mat, like, it's fake. But when you go up to someone who's 3 feet taller than you and has a giant sword and starts swinging it your way, I'm just like, like, it's terrifying, man. It was interesting to take, you take the first few hits to be like, no, like, I'm not fragile. Like, I can take a hit from a foam sword. But yeah, man, seeing those, I was like, no. It was like whenever the mimics were out, and I was like, I'm a little bitch. I'm not dealing with this, especially when I had to pee. Just put my weapon upside down, put light on it, out I go. Not dealing with that. So, however, our forces, we got decimated on the second battle. But for the third battle, we were victorious. Barely. But we were victorious. Hail, Ligue des Freehold, and all who stand against the Empire. The Imperium, not really the Empire. So, yeah. So the prize for it basically was, whenever they found out about the round table and whatnot, is in order to get stuff back, to perhaps bring King Arthur back, they need 10 seats at this table. And the seats were going to be divided based upon who won the battle. Or all of that. So since we won battle 3, we won battle 1, we lost battle 2, we won battle 3, we won, so we got 6 seats at the table, as opposed to the Imperium, who has 4 seats at the table. Which was a very interesting thing. So there were, immediately afterwards, it was basically like, okay, now that we know what the prize, the whatever is on Saturday, we had our group picture taken, which is the picture that I showed you guys of just who stayed, behind. We find this out, and they're like, okay, Nova Vitae, Ligue de Freehold, we're all going to be starting to have some meetings at 3, and we're going to have a giant group meeting at 4, and we need to have an answer by like 5:30. So it was very like, holy crap, who do we nominate from all of these different guilds? And, the part that I was from, the region I was from, the Ligue de Freehold, is Nova Vitae, Ordo Synthé, the March Wardens. Sellers Keep is actually kind of part of it, because they're assassins, but they also really don't like slavery, oppression. I mean, they kill because they care, right? That was my motto from Nova Vitae, was we kill because we care. But there's quite a few of us, and so we're trying to, divide up, like, these seats. And these are these people you've only known for a few days, but, like, when you have nothing else to do, you just sit and talk, right? Because, like, I couldn't go fuck off on my phone. So you're just sitting here having a drink, just water, you're just chatting with someone while, you have 10 minutes until an event starts. So it was so crazy just getting to know them, from everyone from, I met, her name is Pyre. And she is one of the most badass warriors I have ever seen. She is so awesome. I cannot remember her name, but she is one of the lieutenants for the Imperium. I mean, I don't go against what she fights for, but damn, she's awesome. Like, she's intimidating as fuck. She's an awesome fighter. Like, on the battlefield, she kicks ass. I'm just like, I gotta train, because I need to do that. But they were so cool. This, the Lady Maeve, who sits on the council on behalf of the March Wardens, who is a very sweet, quiet, yet good singer, and a bit of a stabby stab. So here we have this council, and again, I hope, if you're interested in Hynafol, I hope you've enjoyed the tales of what had happened through the mists, at least through my eyes, for the last few days. We then hear that Saturday night, you might want to bring some gear to King Arthur's table. So at 6:30, I think, which actually wasn't a great time because dinners are from like 6 to 8. So if you wanted to do it, like we had to be in line at like 6 to try to get food and then eat and then whatever. Which is this is also whenever the huzzah to the tip was really not great in the middle of this. So we show up. All of the people, who want to be at least a part of watching this go. They take their seats. They do a quick introduction of who all of the leaders are, the 10 that are assembled. Excuse me. And they're like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to see if Arthur comes back. And then they also they talk that we find out about dragon eggs and whatnot. But instead of Arthur coming back, a very angry man with a bit of a ponytail and a luscious beard comes out saying his name is Mordred and he is the rightful heir to Hynafol. And now we have the orcs and Mordred to deal with. And I'm like, I just wanted to get a falafel, but that's fine. So we have all these guys to deal with now. The whole thing was really cool, though. And then in the middle of all of this, we hear that the Empress has been slain. There's a whole lot of lore in this that I'm not going to bore all of you guys with, but let's just say that there was a lot of back and forth because no one has shown up after Mordred, and then we're like, people are like, maybe he is the rightful heir. We sat down, something was supposed to have happened. He randomly shows up. Does he even know how long it's been? Like, maybe he was the rightful heir. And now we're like, well, okay, but we still want our land. Like, so then he comes back and he's like, you can stay here, but just, as long as I am happy. And it was really cool. So it's just setting up a lot for year 2, like it's not just going to be the Imperium versus League to Freehold. Like, we have Mordred to deal with now. We have the orcs to deal with now. So there's a lot more going on in the world, and it was so awesome. Then we hear at the table that there are dragon eggs. There are 3 dragon eggs, but they believed one of them had perished. However, we come to find out, no, there are actually still 3 dragon eggs. The dwarves have one, the lodge had one, and the other one is missing. At least I think it's missing. Or no one said where it is. Doesn't mean it's missing, just means nobody publicly said where it is. So then some dwarves show up, speaking a language that we do not understand, but the few words they could get out were like fire, mountain, death, flames. So, and then get to the castle. Then we hear, get to the castle, it's being overran. They're like, well, hold on, we need to figure out what's going on. So, the Order and a few other guilds who are the more, like, fighting guilds, like, actual, like, they are battle guilds. They were like, men on me, go! So they go to help, like, protect the castle. And then us, like, we're just kind of waiting on, like, okay, what's gonna happen here before we go or stay? And yeah, eventually, then that's when we find out that the Empress has been slain. We do not find out from whom yet, but we find out she is slain. And then, if you wish to come to her memorial, and we're just like, what is going on? So Mordred has come out. Something is coming with fire to the castle, and the Empress was just slain. And this has literally all happened within like 2 hours or less. And then it's run to the castle because the castle is under attack. And this time, it isn't a tornado warning. It is an attack on the castle. And so in the dark, on the grounds, if you've ever been to Sherwood Fair, on the grounds of Sherwood Fair, in front of the castle, we battled. And it was fucking awesome. And I will show you this little bit. Because this, yep, if you're still here, I'm gonna hit play. There's no sound. This is the only video somebody had took and posted of this. That light and all of those things coming out are trying to kill you. And that line in the background you see was our hold line. You can see, yeah. So this was kind of the hold line. because we knew stuff was going to come out and we were kind of waiting. There were torches and stuff behind us. So the ones with the white masks were mimics, and those are the ones that follow you. And then there are also shades. So they come out, and I mean, that's terrifying enough because usually there was only like at most 5, but these were a lot pouring out right all at once. And then here comes motherfucking death. Not shitting you, this guy. This guy right here. Stilts. Huge scythe. Fire, like smoke coming out of him. Motherfucker scared the shit out of me. I literally took multiple steps back when he came out. But that was it. It's just this 17-second video. That's all there was. Once more things are out, I will be happy to share them with you. Potentially 2, 4, 6 weeks. I'll be posting them all over my social medias and whatnot. But we ended up defeating death. Kind of, not really. You can't defeat death. We held enough mimics down and we got some healers. My part in that battle was protecting the healers. So I had a spear so I could try to keep some of them at bay while the healer was healing something. Because if you got hit, you were insta-dead. So then the healer was on him, so I'm trying to protect the healer. There was a question earlier, if you die. If you die, you can be respawned by a healer. Or if you like it, but within like 5 minutes, if you haven't been revived by a healer, your character actually dies. And you have to go into story, which is a building, and report to the story that your character was killed, and then they put you in the book of heroes. But if your character dies 6 times, if you get 5 marks near your name, your character is dead, and you have to completely make a new character. So there was another reason why I was like, I'm paying my 10 gold, and I'm getting my name off of that fucking board, because I don't want to die. Dominic's name is in the board once. I think he might be the only one in our party that died. No, William died also. I did not die. I paid for my freedom. So, and after I got, once Death was down enough, he had a ton of health, but, whacking him. Once he was down, he basically did this massive, like, you know what a bad guy does at the end? This, like a scythe swing. And, hear me, mortals! I will be back to reclaim your souls on these lands. And then, like, takes back off towards the castle. And it's just one of those, like, I'm in a boss fight. Like, I'm in a motherfucking boss fight right now. So it was... Yeah, it was just, it was bonkers. And then by the end of that night, we're exhausted, after all the battle especially. It's probably like 9:30, 10. You have to leave the next morning, so there was a very, we still had a few more drinks. We closed out the dwarves, maybe? Last call for them. I'm not sure. The moral of the story is at the very end of the night, we ended up around the fire. Myself, it was the 5 of us, in our group. And we just ended up with some candles, we were on wooden planks because it was dry because we were ready to rain. And we just sat, we chatted for an hour and a half in the dark with, randomly out, Keith went to go get some snacks from our tent, and I'd run and go grab some more fresh drinks for people. But we ended the night just talking about our experiences, and it was so cool. I never LARPed before. The closest I've ever gotten is pretend, sword fighting with my ranger swords. I've never done role playing and stuff like this before. But it oddly was really easy. When it's hard to be I'm gonna role play in the middle of this modern world, but when you're literally in an area where everything seems like it's from that time, you're wearing the clothes, you're surrounded by it, it's easy to just kind of let yourself go with it. And I never felt unsafe there. As I had said before, it was a huge surprise to me. It wasn't 75% guys. It was more or less even. There were a lot of girls there. There were people there of all ages. There was a 2-year-old little kid there. There was, I don't know how old the lady of the lake was, but she was awesome. And there were probably people there in their 80s. Girls, guys, anyone in between. Multiple, you define with multiple, that's great. Some people were half fake. Like, it was so cool because people could just be who they wanted to be. You know, you want to wear eye makeup on half your face? Do it. You want to have black grow ahead? You want a blue giant butterfly? More power to you. But it was really cool that you were just yourself, but not yourself. You know what I mean? You're the person inside of you, I guess, that you have in there. So that was sad, but you know, by Sunday, really, you wake up. We had our last meeting where we got our last bits of information, and that was about it. You know, you kind of packed up and you had to head home and say bye to everyone, and it was so freaking sad. I mean, I have a million stories that I wish I could write that I'm not even going to share on here, like trading Alduin or whatever for, I know it's not Alduin, you know, for his fairy teeth, and just even more stories about balls and cups of with the dwarves. But I will never forget this. It was an absolutely amazing experience. I'm already over 2 hours, but if you're interested in it, shoot me a message. It's called Hynafol, Hynafol. You can check out me, Lobos Jr., twitch.tv/Lobos Jr. just did a stream today where he talked about it for probably 3 hours today. So that was kind of awesome. I was in it also because I was helped filling in some of his blanks, and then I was like, wow, I didn't know that happened either. Like, I didn't know he actually died. So that was kind of fun. It was an amazing experience. This was my like only non-decorum outfit piece that you wore was your wristband, because it had to denote if you were allowed in the grounds after dark, if you were allowed, and if you had meals included in your plan. So that was the difference in the bands. So friends that I made, Alistair, Finnan, Magnus, Pyre, Chifo. Is Chifo's earlier was the one who handed me the sword when I had to protect myself from my friend. Chifo and I became friends. It's really cool. A lot of them are on Discord too, so I've already like actually made friends with some of them that I've made from the mists already, which is really awesome. You know, we're all coming back to our real lives today. Tomorrow, this is our last like day off. Tomorrow's back to the real world. I don't know, but I'm gonna cut this. I just really needed to get this video diary out. And again, if you're interested in Hynafol and you want to know more, awesome. If you're just here because of Hynafol, I actually usually talk about Power Rangers and Tokusatsu stuff. So that's what I do. You can hit subscribe if you want. But I thank you all so much for just hanging out and listening to me ramble. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening. So, no, until today, I love you. I think you're awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Toodles.